Timing and accuracy. So, when we talk about timing and accuracy, the thing we have to understand about timing and accuracy is that with timing and accuracy, this is something that we do from within the function, within the heat of battle, within within the deep stresses and tension of an outlet or within a function, is when we start to lose our sense of critical thinking. We start to lose our mathematical cognitive understanding of 2 plus 2 equals 4. It's all about timing and accuracy. It's all about the flows and the patterns of what's going on and how to manipulate the flows of those patterns in order to best suit our advantage. Now we're getting into a point in the function to where we're no longer focused on the critical thought. We're no longer focused on making calculations. We're no longer focused on information or writing down, just blunt information, or we're in a whole different realm now, right? We're no longer writing the information. We're now fighting with it, right? We're now within the outlet. It's the difference between sitting behind a desk and writing a business plan and actually being in the function, and writing a business plan and within being in the midst of a 5v5 professional basketball game, right? And I say there's a difference because they both require high levels of mental work, but the mental work is different. The mental work that's required writing a business plan is more of a critical thinking, right? But within a 5v5 basketball game, especially a professional basketball game, it no longer becomes about anything critical thought. It no longer becomes anything about language or analytics, statistics, none of that. It all becomes about timing and accuracy. It all becomes about the rhythm of the game and being able to enforce your will throughout the flows of the game in order to get a desired outcome. It's all about competition, right? So within the heat of battle, the game stops becoming about language, analytics, and this sort of thing, and it starts to become about will, and it starts to become about your ability to affect the flows of the game, right? And this comes with timing and accuracy, proper timing and proper accuracy with what you do know is how you can best conduct results, and to be able to impact the game in the desired way that you would want to impact it. And one more thing, when we talk about timing and accuracy, people have different outlets that they tend to gravitate towards or to magnetically be drawn towards, right? And within this outlet, there's a language has become precedent, within that culture, and this becomes the basis of how they communicate and how they understand, right? Basketball lingo, right? The basketball lingo. You got, you know what I'm saying? You got the job lingo. Like anytime you get into a job, for the most part, there's a lingo. There's a different lingo depending on the function that they're committed to, right? This goes with any sort of organization or group for the most part that's doing work, right? There's a different lingo, and they all have different ways of speaking to each other, right? So the thing to understand is, like, depending on that outlet, depending on how the language, you know what I'm saying, how you prioritize things. You know what I'm saying? The priority of the things that you may, you know what I'm saying, that the things that you may have, like, or objects that may be in a vicinity, you know what I'm saying, might be different than the way that somebody else prioritizes it, depending on their lingo, their language, and what function that object has to whatever outlet that they're in, and however they function, right? You know what I'm saying? So the importance of that object might be different, right? But at the same time, this is how things can sort of get bottled up, because as a person, you know what I'm saying, from one outlet, you know what I'm saying, as a man from one outlet on the basketball, street ball lingo, you know, I may conceptualize certain things a different way, and it can easily get bottled up, or flipped, or switched into a whole new narrative, depending, you know, if I let it, right, or if the if I let if the other outlet, you know, sort of overtakes my lingo. So it's important for me to craft myself out in all the aspects needed as a street ball, you know what I'm saying, the living aspects of as a street ball player, whether it's your economic, finances, living expenses, lifestyle, all this stuff, right, needs to be incorporated. Structure, which was something that we have. But all of these things need to be incorporated into our lingo, right, into the lingo of street ball, basketball, in order for it to actually be able to be self-sufficient, sustainable, independent of itself, right, in terms of its lifestyle, its culture, and its way of life, right? So if this be the case, then when we really, you know, when we get on the subject of talking about the differences and functions and things like this, all of these things revolve first and foremost around a lingo, right? Before anything else. When we talk about critical thought, and we talk about, you know what I'm saying, thinking and conceptualizing in a critical manner, lingo is something that takes things that would rather, you know, that would rather be put in a more analytical, in a more critical state, or information that would by normal means be critical and make them more accessible, right? Meaning that more accessible, more acquirable, and more natural to be able to just flow within timing and accuracy, right? Within the natural rhythms and flows of the game, right? So when we talk about flowing through the natural, you know what I'm saying, when we talk about the natural flows of the game, right, your lingo, the lingo is very important, right? It's something that has an effect on of course, the functions of whatever outlet that you're having. And the critical thought, as we said before, is something that that doesn't equate to the lingo, but it does have a significant point in part due to the fact that when you acquire new conscious information and conscious knowledge of things, it then slows down and ripple affects the timing and accuracy of what you're doing from within the rhythm of the outlet in which you're doing it. When you do something unconsciously, right, you're subjected to simply the natural flows and rhythm of what you do. But the moment you become conscious of that thing, it starts to slow down and starts to mess up the natural way in which you do things, due to the fact that the natural rhythm in the way that you've done things has now been split. Your mind has now is incorporating conscious knowledge, or your brain is starting to distribute energy and resources to the conscious part of your brain, which slows down the natural rhythm of the function, right? And as this energy is split, you have to now regain synchronization and control, you know, from in between your conscious mind and the natural rhythm of the way in which you do things. Both of these things have to become in sync with each other in order for you to now come from a state of beginner's luck and a state of mediocrity to a state of mastery, right? It's by the time you master your conscious mind and the natural way in which you do things and put them together, right? And they become synchronized over time, right? Over time of constantly matching what you know with the natural rhythm and way in which you do things, right? And as you put these two together and continually practice over and over again, right, you then gain mastery over that thing, right? And now you become, and now you become you become the master, right? You become the experienced, right? You become the professional, quote unquote, right? The professional is the word, right? And this is where we want to be at, right? Because we all start off in a state of beginner's luck and just doing something and under coordination and appliance. And we just continually do it, and it becomes a natural rhythm, and we just do it, and it's fun. But then the moment we start to be conscious of things, right, our brain and our mind starts to distribute, or it starts to take from that natural rhythm and apply that energy to this conscious information. So we have to be able to take this conscious information that we have and apply it to the function and synchronize it with our natural rhythm, because it's not going to synchronize by itself. You're going to have to take whatever conscious information that you have, because your brain has now been split, and be able to incorporate conscious knowledge and be able to disrupt or disorient the rhythm of your own natural flow, and be able to disrupt the rhythm of of the function in order to incorporate conscious knowledge and conscious information. And that's the key thing, and that's the key important thing about conscious information. It's your ability to disrupt the rhythm of the natural flow of the outlet, and then be able to insert conscious intel, and then being able to coordinate that with your own natural rhythm and being able to bounce back and forth. Kobe Bryant is a great example of this. But anyway, I'm going to conclude this one right here. This one was timing and accuracy. I hope this one was good, and I hope that we touched on all the points as well as we wanted to in this one, right? To, understanding that proper timing and proper accuracy comes with a whole process of being able to break down conscious implementation, of course, and then being from within the outlet your own natural rhythm. Conscious information can be anything, right? And your understanding of this conscious information will allow you to be able to operate with the art of schemes, with creativity and innovation in how you reapply this information back to your natural rhythm. And however you choose to apply it back to your natural rhythm is just how it's going to be, right? You know what I'm saying? It is what's going to make you the master once you're able to train time and time again to a point to where you reconnect or you rewire or you resynchronize your mind, to be able to function back within the outlet, this time with natural rhythm and with conscious understanding. No longer disoriented, but resynchronized.